Hello folks, I'm here to talk to you about traversing an array. So we have this project with these multiple grids, and we want to make sure that we look at ways that we can go through each and check if it's a red square. That's one way we can help figure out which grid we're on. So this all works around the traversal of row and columns we've done before. So here is an example from, I believe it's 2.1.4. So we start row to 1, our column to 1. So now our first row is 1. So we're on row 1, and then our column is on 1. Right, so meaning this one here. Actually, I should use a different color. Because these, where there's a 1, that would denote a red block, right? Or an X. You can mark these with X. Whatever it asks you to do, just the fact that there's a red block there. So, it's going to come down here, and we're checking if this item row, which is equal to 1, and the column 1, which is 1, 1, or I should say 1, 1 from this direction, if it equals 1, aka red, whatever red would be, you could put an extra 2 here if that's what you use, then here it says print on brain. But what we would actually be doing is we would be taking a variable called red, and adding 1 to it. And then we would also be setting our count for our columns back to 0. Or back to 1. Or no, sorry, not back. We wouldn't be setting it back. We'd be adding 1 to it. Column plus 1. So now, row is 1, column was 1. But now, because we just added 1 to it at the end of this, it is equal to 2. Oops. Okay, so now this is going to loop back here. So it's going to say is column less than 6, because the row is 1 right now. And column now just had 1 added to it, so it is 2. Is 2 less than 6? Yes, so it's going to go through this pattern again. So now the row is 1, the first row, but the column has changed to the value of 2. So it's now the second column. It's going to say, is this row and column equal to 1? Well, this one is. Now before, I accidentally added 1 before. This one was not red, right? But this one is, so now 1's added to it. So red now has a value of 1. Alright, it's going to go through here, and it's going to add 1 to column. So column is now equal to 3. Let's erase this. Three. Okay. So 3 still less than 6. So red is at 1. Column had 1 added again here. So it's now at 3. So now column has moved up to this point here. So it's going to test is row, which is still equal to 1, and column, which is equal to 3, showing this spot here. Is it equal to 1? It is not. So red stays the same, but we add 1 to column. So now column is 4. Okay, now column is pointing here. Column is 4. Column is 4. So it's going to check this position. It's still on row 1, column 4. It is going to say, does this have an X, or whatever mark you have for red? Well, row 1, column 4 does indeed have an X or a 1 or whatever mark to show red. So now red is going to be 2. So we're doing red plus 1. So that means that red is now equal to 2. So we're going to say red is now 2. Alright, it goes down here, adds 1 to the value of column. So now we're on this column here. And we added 1 to the value of column. That means it is now 5. So we're now on this one. Our row is on 1, our column is 5. does it have an X or whatever for a red mark, meaning these? It does not. So red stays at 2. Now we add 1 to column. Now column becomes 6 at this point. Now column now is 6 less than 6. It is not. So this is going to break this out of this loop, this while loop here. And it is going to kick it back here and change row by 1. So this is the mechanism that pushes the row to the next row. So now row is equal to 2. And column right here is reset to 1. Here's some of this here. Okay. So now we have gone on to the second row. We are now on row 2. Row is equal to 2. And column has been reset to 1 right here. Set column to 1. So now we are on second column, first row. So this is 1. So we're saying row 2, column 1, does this have a 1 or an X? No, it does not. It's not red, so we don't add to the value of this. We do add 1 to column, so column is now 2. That's very bad 2, but you get the point. 2 and 2. So it says in row 2, column 2, is that an X or 1 or whatever mark? It is. So we're actually adding 1 to the value of red. It is now 3. Okay? And we're going to keep doing this. It's going to keep adding to the value of column and checking if it is equal to 1 or X or whatever. And it will keep adding to the value red. So we get another red there. Red is now at 4. When it gets here, once column gets added to here, and once it is 6, then 6 is no longer less than 6. It breaks it out of here. It sets this row by adding 1 to the row here. It adds 1 to the row. Now we're on row 3. And it's going to keep moving like that through each of these, looking for any red spot. So in the end, this variable red is going to count up the total amount of red squares we have.